This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11, and verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Verse 29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Before I begin this lesson, Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rikakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the whole elect, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom, this is the brother Kakon Gabar, the keepers of sheep camp. I pray that this lesson be edifying and straight to the point. Right, and I believe I'm tired of this lesson. Jacob will soon be at rest. Right, because of right now, right, in the land as our captives, right, as long as Esau, Edom is in rulership, we'll never find our peace, right, we'll never be at rest, right, we'll have to continue to still go to work, right, continue to still look over our shoulders, continue to still be paranoid, right, continue to still have to worry, right, anxiety, we have to rebuke those demons, that anxiety demon, that worriness demon, right, because we know that everything is preordained and in the Lord's hands, right? But Esau Edom, right? The scam America, right? Scam America, what people like to call it, right? Can have you stressing out at times, man. But in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna have to stress again, right? Ain't gonna be no anxiety for us, no worriness, all right? Being scared, you know. Because why? Because we're going to finally be at rest. We're going to finally be at peace, man. We ain't going to have to worry about going into captivity anymore, man. We ain't going to have to worry about struggling to have to pay the bills, pay rent. You ain't going to have to worry about your spouse, your partner, your girlfriend, how you want to put it, going out to cheating, man. But quick precept. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. Right, and it reads, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right, so us being in the land of our captives, this is not our rest, man. Right, you gotta depart from this place spiritually, man. Because if not, guess what's going to happen? He said, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with this short destruction. Right, because this place is only going to bring destruction upon you. Right, so if you're not doing what's lawful, what's righteous, then your reward is destruction, right? And we are a holy nation, right? A holy people. We set apart from all other people, from the other nations. So therefore, we can't be out here, having the same desires, right? And, partaking in the Esau system, right? And, everything that they advertise, right? Hey, we're doing the totally opposite, and that's why persecution is going to come upon who? The prophets, right? That's why they're going to try to label us a hate group, right? Terrorists and all that. Because why? Because they see because they know that we're different, and they know that we're going against their system, But if you don't depart, from here spiritually, mentally, then guess what? You're going to be caught up in that destruction when the Lord Yahweh shall make his return, all right? From the top, Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right, so the Lord's already telling you that, hey, this is not your rest, man. Your rest is coming, but right now it's not. All right, so let's grab Deuteronomy chapter 30. And we'll grab verse 3. All right, and it reads, it says, I'll start up at verse 1, right? Point being verse 3. It's saying, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord Yahweh thy power have driven them, or driven thee. He said, and shalt return unto the Lord Yahweh thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3 being the point, he say that then the Lord Yahweh, thy power will turn thy captivity, right, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord Yahweh thy power has scattered thee. All right, so Israelites is throughout the four corners of the earth, right? Because the Lord scattered us, right, for amongst all nations for a curse, right? But what he says in verse 3, he say that then the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, thy power, will turn thy captivity. Right? So the Lord is going to soon turn our captivity, right? And ultimately he's going to put it upon what? Our enemies. You know, because when you first jump down to verse 7, it reads, in the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, right? So the same curses that he put on his children, right? Same curse is going to put on our enemies, right? And what's one of the curses? Captivity, right? So the same captivity we had to go through, they're going to go through that as well, but worse, right? So it says, jumping back up to verse 3, he said that then the Lord, thy power, will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, right? Whether the Lord, Yahweh, thy power, has scattered thee, right? So the Lord is going to what? He's going to gather us and, return us back into our homeland, right? And when he does that, that's when, we will be back in rulership, right? And, having the authority and the earth to be ran back in its correct course, right? Back in righteousness, you know, or be ran in righteousness in a sense, right? So let's go out Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, and we'll get verse 10, right? And it reads, therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Right? And the Lord, and the Lord mean that. He promised that. He said the exact same thing in Jeremiah chapter 46 and verse 27. Right? So that's the Lord doubling down on his word, man. He said, but fear not thou. Jeremiah 46:27 said, but fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, right, back into his homeland. He's saying, be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid, man. Because, hey, we go be in rulership. Hey, we go be the true gods and powers upon the face of the earth, right? The other nations, they're going to be afraid of Jacob, right? They're going to be afraid of Israel, right? So let's grab Jeremiah 30 and 10 in NLT, right? And it reads, so like it says, so do not be afraid, Jacob, my servant. Do not be dismayed, Israel, says the Lord Yahweh. For I will bring you home again from distant lands, right? Distant lands, right? Because we scattered abroad, the four corners of the earth. He's saying your children will return from their exile. Israel will return to a life of peace and quiet, and no one will terrorize them, right? So soon we'll be at a life of peace, right? See, right now we're not at peace, man. We're not at rest. We're not at ease. Cause why? Because hey, this land over here is not meant for us. Hey, we came over here for a punishment. So why would you be at peace when you're supposed to be out here getting punished? Why are you having to go work a 9 to 5, then get taxes pulled out of your check just to pay it right back to Uncle Sam? Like, come on, man. All right, you got to worry about your kids not, getting hurt. Nothing happening to your kids. Nothing happening to your family. All right? Nothing happening to your car, your house. Yeah, you got to be a provider. Like, you got to do all these things, man. Hey, it's hard to be at peace here, man. It's hard. right? So let's grab Isaiah 14:3, right? And Lord willing, we'll wrap it up after this, right? So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 14, and we'll start at verse 1, right? And it reads, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land." Right? So it just shows you right there that our Lord's going to bring us back into Israel, right? When America be destroyed and Israel be destroyed as well, unlike America, Israel will be rebuilt back up, right? By who? By our enemies, right? The ones that's going to be in slavery, right? So he say, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. Those strangers talking about the Israelite foreigners, right? We done broke that down plenty of times. He's saying they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Verse 2, he's saying the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for service and handmaids. So now this is talking about the other nations, right? This is talking about the other nations, how they're going to go into captivity, right? He said, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were. See, he's saying they shall rule over their oppressors, right? Verse 3 being the point. He said, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Right? So we will never, ever have to worry about being sorrowful again, sad, being angry, right? Being scared, worrying about going into captivity again, hey, worrying about your wife cheating, worrying about your kids getting locked up in jail, worrying about, hey, we'll be worry free, man. Right? We'll be worry free, man. And Kahala Yahweh Bashin Yahweh Shah, right? For these things, man. Hey, we patiently waiting for these things, man. Cause hey, I'm telling you, man, it gets stressful down here sometimes, especially for a so-called black man over here in America, right? Hey, it's a lot of things going on, but hey, we see through the signs and the prophecies that we don't have much longer. We got to continue to keep faith and continue to, to adhere to the end, man. Isaiah 14:3 from the top, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, man. So we're going to finally be at peace, man. He said, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, right? Because as long as Esau, Edom, rule, man, the whole earth to be, will continue to mourn, right? Let's grab that real quick. What is it? Proverbs 29 and verse 2, right? And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, right? So when Jacob, right, for second Age 69, for Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Hey, when Yahweh shall make his return, right, and begin his rulership and authority, right, and Israel, right, are the kings, and priests of the earth again, right? That's when everyone's going to rejoice, right? He said, but when the wicked bears rule, the people mourn, right? Hey, not only so-called Americans are mourning, but hey, either the other nations are mourning due to America, actions, right? With war and all these things going on, man. Right, with gas prices and things of that such, oil, and etc. Right, so Esau, you don't just make everybody's life a hellhole, a shit show while their lives, be lavish, right? But Esau, Edom, man, you won't be living lavish in the kingdom of heaven, right? Which I'll tell you that much, you know. But with that being said, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Once again, Jacob will soon be at rest, right? And until next time, shalom.